Hi, everybody. I'm a little late. Sorry about that. Got stuck doing stuff. Hey, Mary, what up? How you doing? Oh, if you're still here, I don't know. Maybe wandered off because I wasn't because I got stuck in the bathroom. Sorry. Oh, happy Wednesday, everybody. That was kind of a short and sweet video this week, huh? I was gonna change actually. I look like a little Amish girl. So into the bedroom we go, and there's nobody here yet, so it doesn't matter. Ha ha. Hmm. 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 Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I just want to find something with sleeves to put on. Hey, somebody, how you doing? Mary, is that you? Oh, hey, Seawolf. How you doing? Did you catch the video? It was kind of a short one this week, but I felt like that point did not need labored. Blair White's a hypocrite. Basically. Oh, and I just want to find something to put on that doesn't look so weird. I'm looking in the wrong place. It occurs to me all my dresses are in the closet. Silly. Don't worry, I got so many layers on you won't see anything. You saw it? What'd you think? I had fun making that one. Driving soon, so I can't chat, but we'll be listening. Oh, okay, right on. The more the merrier. It's nice to have people to actually talk with. Our chats aren't so big around here that I have so many people I can't. That's a question. If you have a real big live stream, I don't know. I might have to go take some lessons from somebody to see what they do. Because do you like my heated vest? Or it's it's a sauna vest, but it's a thermal vest. I was like, oh, you mean a thermal vest? Because there's not water in it. It's just, yeah, it keeps the body heating. So we'll take the brown sweater off and put the blue dress back on. It has to be said, so many people make exceptions for Blair, even though he admits to using women's spaces. Who makes an exception for Blair besides the Ben Shapiros of the world? What up, Mary? How you doing? I'm not stripping, I promise. I just had this brown thing underneath blue that looked weird. You're good? That's good. I'll be honest, I'm struggling a little bit this morning. I could not wake up. I had to haul out my sun lamp. You'll see it here in a second. It was up there on the shelf, and it's in there in the kitchen now because I had to haul that bitch out this morning. The zombification is setting in. Even here in Tennessee, the sun just kind of never came up this morning. It's twilight outside all day. Sucks. What up, Philological? How you doing? I hope I did not offend you too much. Because really my point was that Blair White is a hypocrite. That was my real point there with all of that. I've been on Depo-Provera hormonal birth control since February 2011. The people who give it to me had to ask all about these weird side effects. You never need to worry about offending me. Don't worry. Oh, okay. Well, I do, because I say, it helps keep me in check and not say some stupid militant shit that I wouldn't want to try and walk back from, because I'm only human. I get pissed off sometimes. My hormones are dangerous and should not be taken for cosmetic reasons. That's ridiculous. Disagree, but I'm not offended. Okay, good. I like that. Frankly, it sounds like you're more educated on the topic than I am, which you should be, right? That only makes sense. I've never been on hormone replacement therapy. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that topic. I just know, what I have learned from knowing the older women in my own family and from the little bit of nursing training that I have, which is that hormones like control all kinds of stuff about your body, and fiddling with them can be very dangerous. It should be done, with discretion. And like for him, it's cross-sex hormones. Right. And for Blair White, I went with what I knew, and I went with the women stuff. Right? Okay, because I don't want to sit here and list a bunch of stats about trans people. That's not why I'm here. I'm only educated on male to female HRT because the nurse made me read through the stuff. I don't know much about puberty blockers or female to male. Okay. Well, and right. Like I say, but you still know more than I do because you have experience in that I don't. I've been on hormonal birth control, which is its own topic, frankly. I could make a whole video just on that. And it's been made, frankly. I've seen it. I think I watched that video last year, so. And it's good that you educated yourself on what you're doing for yourself. That's rational. That's the kind of self-awareness that Blair White apparently lacks, which was my whole point. I'm really just picking on Blair White today. I don't mean to, call in everybody. There we go. We're not quite alone today. The kids are all at school. Whee! Oh, my hair is crazy as always. I don't know why y'all will be surprised by that at this point, right? I don't know if she lacks it. Blair seems very aware that there are risks. Okay. I'm not saying lack of self-awareness about the hormones necessarily, but to sit there and complain about the fat acceptance movement, point for point, exactly the same thing that we in the rad femme community and the gender critical community have been saying about the trans movement for years. I'm sorry, the parallels were too blinding. Like, all I had to do was sit there and hit him back, boom, 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 everything he said. It was so cold inside, you got to wear your sweater and a heated vest. No, I am just that way. The thermostat is set to 69, 70, something like that. I just think the material evidence doesn't line up the same for trans versus fat acceptance. Like, being obese is worse for you physically? Yeah, maybe. That's why I tried to draw the parallel. I think that the trans movement, right? No one is claiming fat genocide. Right. I think, but so in the way that the fat acceptance movement encourages you to run with all of your worst impulses physically, I think in a lot of ways the trans movement is that way for your mind. It encourages you to run with all of your worst mental and emotional impulses. Fat people aren't beating up Dave Chappelle for mention. Fat genocide, laughing my ass off. Sounds like a gym name. It does! It does! It does. It sounds like a bro gym, though. Right? No, wait. Fat Genocide should be a punk band. Yeah. Then you don't have to worry about whether or not you're pissing people off. It's a punk band. I come up with band names. I do that sometimes. I'll do just that phrase, and I'll just be like, oh, my next band name. And I used to be serious back many, many moons ago. I collected band names. Oh. I think one of my favorites was somebody in a band I was with came up with Swing Pinion. I'm like, that sounds really great. What does it mean? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, well, then we can't use it. Why not? Because it doesn't mean anything, you idiot. I ever form a punk band, I already know. And it's a pun and everything. That's good. That's good. You play the lyre, right? Or you will soon. You play anything else? I'm trying to imagine. If punk, what do they call medieval music? What's the name for that as a genre? Anyway, if it hasn't been punked yet, it will. Piano and bass must. Oh, well, then you're set. A bass guitar? Fuck yeah. Yeah. All you need is a drummer and someone to scream for you, and you're set. I say that like drummers are easy to find. No. A good drummer is worth his weight in gold. Am I right? A good drummer who isn't completely insane is worth his weight in gold. Am I right? Hmm. You have to specify, especially with drummers. I don't know what it is about drummers, but like, y'all remember the Muppets? Y'all remember Animal? He's based on a real person whose name was Keith Moon. Okay. Like, drummers are crazy. Oh my god, the lyre broke on the first day. Oh no! Like not a string, right? Like did the bridge snap or something? Like, did you have a peg snap? Like, what happened? I'm legit curious. That is messed up. I'm so sorry. Because like if you were just using it, it shouldn't do that. Musical instruments are delicate, but not like that. Not for their intended use. That's stupid. Ooh. Ah. Basically, the strings were attached to the bass with twine, and the twine full on snapped. I don't think that's how that's supposed to be. I can probably repair it myself, but their asses about it. Yeah, well, okay, because a lot of times if you repair something yourself, then you voided your warranty, haven't you? So, boo. But like twine, like really? Like I'm not an expert in medieval instruments or anything, but I'm not sure that's how that's supposed to be constructed. Like, period wise. I mean, you probably know more medieval scholars and like people who are into that kind of thing than I do. Do you know anybody who like might be able to take a look at the thing for you and tell you a little bit more about like because I know there are some details, about musical instruments that are kind of crazy and like obscure. And like if you don't know, then you wouldn't know, you know. So I would just before I go sending it back through the mail, I would throw myself on the mercy of anybody or go to a music shop or something. I don't know. Just ask. Can at least ask. But I don't even know what kind of an area you live in. I'm thinking about where like I used to live, where there was a guitar store every couple of miles. I swear to God, a little cool hole in the wall place. Gosh. Oh, a place I took lessons in high school is gone now, though. Whew. Okay, you're in London, so yeah, you should probably be able to find somebody to ask about that before you go shipping it back through the mail. Delicate thing like that. And shoot, if you can find somebody who knows about it where you are, then to hell with the warranty, right? Because you bought it outright. You're not like making payments on this thing or something, are you? And not to be nosy about like your finances, but I'm just saying, if you bought it outright, then you can say to hell with the warranty. A lot easier, right? Okay, cool. So yeah, if it has a warranty, you can just walk away from that without feeling like an idiot because you're still paying them, right? For not repairing your shit. Like that's so annoying. Nobody wants that. Mm, okay. So now, when you said the thing about hormones helping, reflecting, accepting reality, I want to ask before broaching that topic, do you mean like internal reality versus external reality? Because one can have an internal reality like that. I accept that idea that no one else can necessarily measure or see or experience. I accept that idea. I was really referring to the outside observable thing, you know? And the more I really like the idea that doggone it, dogs. The more I think I'm gonna have to take them outside probably here in a minute. It's cold today. I don't want to. But like the more I think about it, the more I really do like the idea of respecting that not every subjectiveness, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Respecting the subjectiveness of certain things. There are certain things that you just aren't going to be able to get an objective measure on. That doesn't mean they don't exist, though, right? That doesn't mean that they don't exist. And, obviously someone's personal experience of something is one of those things. Like, really, literally, if you don't believe, if you believe that, if you're a strict materialist, what you're saying is that people's experiences are not real ever, which I don't think most of us would be ready to accept that. So that would be my question, because I was referring to the external manifestation. Like, clearly, and we all do this. Okay. I am not perfectly internally in sync with my external reality. Who the fuck is? Who the fuck? That's like the ultimate goal of life, right? That is nirvana, right? That is enlightenment, right? Like, nobody has that. Like, okay, your average person on the internet does not have that. I don't have that. I'm not claiming that. But somebody like Blair White's, where they butt up against reality is like right up front, right? Very, very, very obviously physically manifested in his face. Okay. And that's the kind of thing that I meant. His subjective experience of any of that, he may be very happy with the way he looks, and that's great. But I get the impression that if he looked like a dude, that would make him very unhappy. Which is kind of what where I'm saying, the material, I'm not explaining this terrifically well. I'm so tired. Where's my coffee? Cheers. I mean, sex dysphoria is irrational. Right. Okay. You're not going to sit. One can recognize that there is nothing wrong with their sex, but still feel dysphoric about it. Right. Right. Okay. So then the problem there would be the reality of there is something wrong. No, there's not. Have you, perchance, ever read the writings of Lauren Black? She's a dysphoric lesbian woman who's written on the subject. No, but that's just because I haven't gotten the chance to read the writings of anyone for a very long time, unfortunately, at any length. But I legit haven't heard of her. That sounds interesting. And I've said this before, I think that dysphoria is incredibly common, actually, especially in adolescence. What do you think about that? That some people may have it a lot worse than others, okay? But I think it's fairly common. I really do. But at the same time, I am biased because I have struggled with it a lot myself. I agree. It's okay. So I think that pathologizing it, to the extent that we do, is a mistake. And I think that gets a lot of people into some very tight corners very quickly, actually. And when they're too young to realize that that's what happened. Oh, here it is. Here it is. See my sun lamp? Woo! Okay. I'd agree that a desire to embody the physical characteristics of the opposite sex is rarer than just discomfort with one natal character. But I can't be sure. I mean, yeah. Again, bias talking, right? Let there be light, right? Yeah. That's what it does. It makes, it's my seasonal depression light. I actually just had it on this morning because I was having trouble waking up. It's like a cup of coffee, light form. Where are my cigarettes? Okay. So yeah. And that the idea that, for some people who have severe gender dysphoria, that perhaps some certain unusual treatments might help. Like, okay, fine. That's it, though. That's like all I can give you. And I want to submit that there might be ways to prevent it getting to such an extreme degree. Like, I'm not speaking for you personally or trying to tell you how to live your life, but I would seriously like I say, I think pathologizing a lot of this stuff, and we have so much pointlessly gendered shit in the world. So if you're, oh my god, look at that laundry room, please don't. Oh my god. So like if you're, already preoccupied with, this as an individual, the way that it's pathologized in the culture around you, combined with the way that everything is pointlessly gendered in the culture around you, seems to be unanimous, doesn't it? So I'm a female with small boobs. I'm trying to convince my doctor to cover breast implants because it wouldn't technically be gender dysphoria because they want to be look more feminine. I think most trans communities don't help. No, I think most trans communities are the blind leading the blind over there. It sort of encourages hyperfixation. Yes, because, well, that's sort of their lifeblood, isn't it? It's like a religious community encouraging hyperfixation on religion. I mean, it is. Or really, it's any community is going to encourage focus on their focus. Like, duh. Right? Of course they are. Of course they are. Unfortunately, I think that, like I say, this focus is unhealthy. I've got severe OCD and see a lot of that in the trans community. Right. The blind leading the blind. I think there's a blurry line where sex dysphoria crosses into the pursuit of beauty. Yeah. I think Critical Kitty is being facetious for the most part. Am I right? Oh my God. Yeah. Have you ever met one of those trans OCD people? Not to my knowledge. I don't get out much anymore. Yeah, you're being facetious. Okay. Because no. For whatever reason, you don't generally hear about people getting surgery so that they can better, like, it doesn't count as trans affirming. It doesn't count as affirming, gender affirming. That's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't count as gender affirming if you're trying to affirm the gender you already got for some reason. I met them in group. Also, every female to male I've met has sexual trauma. Word to the wise, pretty much every woman has sexual trauma. Right? Am I right? Of some degree, in some way, like we live in a misogynist world. Yeah. Not to dismiss what you're trying to say. I think, it's probably more severe in those cases because, and I'm not going to sit here and try and speak for men, but as somebody who tried to be one, a man that is, for a long time, I'll speak for, women like that. Which is that, yeah, a lot of it is trying to get away from the parts of yourself you don't like and understand the shit that scares you. It is trauma response. It is. But in order to treat male and female trans people differently, we have to admit there's a difference. Which is anathema to the whole project, ironically. But don't get me started about how, like, it terminates itself, right? A lot of female to male detransitioners say stuff like what you just said. Yeah, right. I know. I relate so much to those young. Some of them not so young. I really, really do. There, but for the grace of time, go I. I am just too old to have fallen into this crap. Because it was 25 fucking years ago. This just wasn't going on. And that is one of the people approach me as if this has always been happening. I'm like, wait. Like, first of all, I want to make a point of order that this shit wasn't going on 25 years ago. This community didn't exist 25 years ago. I know because I looked for them. And I was a member, I knew all the gay people. I knew all the queer people. Well, they didn't call themselves that then. I knew all the pagans and the Wiccans and the intellectuals and the weirdos. I knew those people. If that community existed, I would have found them. And it didn't. So, and this is partly where it frustrates me so much that most trans activist communities advocate for medical self-ID. Yeah, like, there are some things about your life you just don't get to dictate. You just don't get to decide. They think some 15-year-old natal female who's been molested and suddenly wants to transition should just instantly be given testosterone with no questions asked. Obviously, that's not a good idea. Obviously, that's not a good idea. When that person obviously needs to sort things out in therapy before making probably any decision. Like, I wouldn't even let that person pick a college before they talk to a therapist, right? Okay, no. And hopefully they have, somebody in their life besides a therapist. That's what we forget in all this discussion. I think people are always like, seek therapy. It's like, what about friends? What about family? Ah. No, and we have one now, and I'm not going to say too much about her, for privacy's sake and everything, but she's going through some stuff right now, but she's dealing with it pretty well because, well, she's got friends and family to talk to besides just, and we're the ones who encouraged her to see the therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a whole system that's just dysfunctional. And the fact we have no fucking mental health services to speak of in this country is, I don't know about the UK, but over here they just wait until you are so dysfunctional you start breaking the law and then they lock you up. Simple. It's real bad over here too. Oh god. Is it bedlam over there? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. The English literally invented the concept of the madhouse, so it's, yeah. Anyway. Also, I'm actually seriously thinking of retraining as a therapist after my PhD and specializing in gender stuff. Oh, that might be a good thought. It's a lot to take on. But, the even-handedness, the even-handed approach is really good. And it would be nice to have someone in the field that's not completely someone who has a head on their shoulders. I don't know. What made you think of that? God, stupid dog, shut up. Because I've thought of doing therapist stuff too. I have a tendency to read people and be like, "Oh, this is what's going on with you," and have them go, "Oh yeah, how did you know that?" So, but my tendency to do that is actually why I didn't, because, oh my God, I'd never sleep again. I reflected on the times I saw mothers come to the drop-in meetings at our local trans center because their kids started identifying as trans and they want advice. That still happens a lot, huh? And I felt crushed because I knew the people at the center would encourage the parent to put the same hypothetical 15-year-old girl from earlier on testosterone. Right. So it's not a hypothetical for you. You see this stuff in real life. Eesh. And you feel like you have something to add to that. That's respectable. I've literally already had people ask me to talk with them about their gender stuff all the time because they see me discuss it in groups and they want my opinion on their personal situation. Right. So people are already coming to you as insightful. Mm-hmm. And I mostly decline because I'm not qualified and don't want to mess things up. Yeah. Again, respectable. So go get the qualifications and do this thing that's already kind of popping up in your life. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. My sister-in-law said something like that to me about something completely different. She's thinking about getting her personal trainer certification because she goes to the gym and she'll like meet these people and she'll be working out with somebody to work out with somebody, to have somebody to work out with. But she's been doing this for years. So she ends up teaching them stuff, and end up having them say, like, gosh, I don't know, maybe I'll just stay fat. I can't keep up with you. And she's like, you know what, maybe I should just start charging these people and then they'll respect my time better. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. Draw yourself a boundary there, make a little money off of it. That sounds great. And this is even bigger, but it's the same kind of idea. If it's already cropping up in your life, make the most of that. Yeah. Right, exactly. Power to her. That's what I said. And she mentioned, getting a social media presence. I'm like, that's how you do it too. And you can just refer people to that and have that boundary and get your space back at the gym, Because she was talking about how it was like she was inviting people into her safe space and they were like messing it up, basically. I said, well, that's not good. And I thought that was a great idea for her. I mean, on paper anyway, it sounds like a great idea. So, like, if something's already there, why not engage it with it to the best of your ability? Especially when it's something like, this isn't, training somebody in a gym. This is like the mental health of developing people. So that's like the future of the world and some stuff. So it's like arguably more important. And it's not just because you feel you have something to add, but it's because people are already coming to you. Yeah. I mean, that's almost just 2 + 2, isn't it? Like I say, that's a lot to take on, though. And that was what stopped me because, well, I just kind of tend to take it all on. And frankly, I'm a person too, and I need my own space in my head and in my life. And what up, Emily Suzanne? Just want to say hi. Watched your Blair White video. Appreciate your perspective. Thank you. Thank you. Blair White is a hypocrite. That was all I was really trying to say with that. And it was kind of short and sweet because I didn't think the point needed belabored. I think that's a pretty clear point. But that one was just so blatant. And the fact that he couldn't see it. Oh. Ooh. Telling on himself. And that to me, I said this in the video and I'll say it again, that to me is the difference. That's the tell between somebody who has their stuff together and somebody who doesn't. Somebody who is, chugging along and somebody who has the potential to be a very destructive force in the world is how self-aware they are. Loves of projection. Right. You can't be aware of something that you're actively projecting onto another group of people. So, it's funny because he did say something about speaking as somebody who's super aware, and I didn't include this in the video because it was too much. I had no comment, frankly. He said something about speaking as someone who's super aware of presentation and like how you looks and whatever, because y'all seen the before pictures. It's like humble brag. I'm so pretty now. It's like, dude. Just hating on fat girls. Like, it's not about being pretty. Oh my God. Like, the cattiness was a bit much. I didn't include most of it because it got to be a bit much. His video is like half an hour of him just hating on fat women. Shut up. Which like came across as like, if this were a woman saying this stuff, it would come across as like the pretty privileged, thin privilege thing. Blair White is so shallow. Yeah, right. Yeah. In a nutshell. Yeah. Get out off the bed. Oh my gosh. There's definitely a snobby vibe. Elitist trans. That's why he's a Republican. If he would advocate against using women's spaces, I think he could do a lot of good. But nope, he thinks he's special. Yep. None of the rules apply to him, right? Not material reality of, his maleness, not the political affiliation of his transness. Like, none of those rules apply to him. That guy is a true iconoclast, right? He's a true independent man. Wait. I probably shouldn't Would Blair White appreciate being called an Ubermensch, do you think? How do you think he would feel about that? He's probably an Ayn Rand fan, right? Oh, you stupid bitches. I don't want to go outside. Blair literally once said he's too trans for the right. Like, just admitting they hate her for being right. Can't believe. Right. Because they line up on something else. It's a fundamental perspective on the world. Which, that's the cat's fighting with the dog. Hey, stop it. Oh my God. Get their little sideshow over here. Like, literally. I mean, she kind of sees herself as a gay man. All the Republican parties, to my knowledge, want to ban gay marriage. I don't know if they're still on that bailiwick or not, to be honest with you. I think that might be a lost cause. Because the number of people who are still upset about that around here, I think, are few and far between. Mainly because they legalized it almost 10 years ago and it didn't affect really anything for anyone. Like, gay people get married now. It's exactly what, they said would happen, which is like, gay people get married now. And sometimes divorced. Yeah, you never know. I never would have guessed they'd ban abortion. That's true. Although there was a strong movement for that for a long time. What I'm saying is I haven't seen any anti-gay rights anybody for a while. Like and I'm not paying super close attention, but if they're out there, they're not making a lot of noise. I just don't, gay marriage passed and the whole world kind of seemed to move on as if that shit just never happened. Because it didn't change anything. Except that now gay people sometimes get married. And occasionally divorced. That's it. Exactly. And Clarence Thomas explicitly said in that case that the overturning of Roe v. Wade also means overturning federal protection of same-sex marriage. Like he's got his eye on it. Why? Okay. Like, this is an argument that they made against it at the time. Why are we wasting legislative money and time and resources on this? The argument against it at the time was because civil rights. Okay, fine. So we're going to waste federal legislative time and resources and money. You have to pay these people, to rescind the civil rights. Why? What? Why? That's crazy. I mean, they've already done it, but it didn't make any sense then either. Did it? No. And they people talk about entitlements like, well, once you roll it out, you never really get to roll it back. Well, now they can shut the fuck up about that, can't they? God damn. Yeah, sometimes they do roll stuff back, don't they? Sure as shit, I'm not counting on Medicare. My Social Security. Sure as shit, I'm not counting on that. Nope. I'm 40. I got 25 years. Right? Something like that. I don't know. I don't even know exactly when the American retirement age is, if I'm honest with you, because I don't care. Because the fuck is it going to matter to me, to people my age? The fuck does that matter? I'm pretty convinced that it doesn't matter. I mean, me personally, I don't ever want to retire because I want to be, I'm writing a book and I'm trying to do this and like I can do this forever. I would love to do this till the day I die. But some people have jobs, like actual hard jobs, to pay their bills and stuff, and they aren't gonna want to. I don't know. I don't know anybody that's planning on retiring who isn't already. Is my point. I'm just getting started. I'm just building up. I mean, shit, as an author at 40, I'm a baby, right? I'm just a little baby author at 40. It's one of the lovely things about the book world is that, you can be an old fuck and no one cares. I am planning ahead. I'm just not planning on retiring ever. I think everybody in here is younger than I am, aren't you? Anybody in here ever even thought of the fact that supposedly you're going to get a check from the government at some point when you're old. Have you ever even entered that into your plans for like your future? Anyway, overturning the federal protection of same-sex marriage is fucking stupid. It didn't hurt anybody. It barely changed anything for anybody. Except sometimes gay couples now get married. Oh no! Which is exactly what they said would happen. No one's marrying horses. I wonder if I heard somebody say some crazy shit like that. What's next? They're just going to marry dogs and horses? No, because dogs and horses are not people. When you know that. A union between two people of the same sex is still a union between two people, you idiots. You remember that too? Yeah, that's fucking crazy, right? Like, no, bestiality is still, an unconsenting party, right? Okay? You can't have a legal consent from an animal. You can't. They can't sign a legal contract, so therefore you cannot marry them. Like, you'd have to change a whole lot of other stuff about our legal system before that would even be possible. So the stupid slippery slope arguments I've ever heard. Not that the slippery slope never happens, it's not really a fallacy. It does happen sometimes. It's almost is more like a ratcheting, really, if you want to think of it like that, over the long periods of time. But you don't go from marrying two men to marrying a horse. Like, what the no. Each of those men is a consenting party. What the fuck? Some of the stupid shit people said against gay marriage. And I just don't. Like, oh, two people of the same sex want to marry one another? Am I involved in this in any way? No? Then more power to them. Who cares? I mean, not that I don't care. Like, more happy for them, but like, I don't. Why does that affect me? I've never understood that. And like, really, unless you do think that they're like coming for your children because they're going to join the PTA. Ooh, like. But what if the horse identifies as a man and takes human growth hormone? You know what? If that horse could talk, his name is Mr. Ed, right? Come on. How's the horse going to agree to anything? Remember, he's not a legal entity. He can't do that. We'd have to change the very foundation of our legal system in order for any of that shit to be possible. From a legal perspective, it's nonsense. Horse can't sign a contract. He can't sign the agreement at the doctor's office. He can't sign the HIPAA thing. He can't do that. That's funny, though. I don't even think Mr. Ed ever claimed to be a man, did he? That would have been a different show. You'd have to give animal rights and people. You have to give animals rights, and people will never do that because they would mean we couldn't eat them anymore. Yeah. And then you run into, like, maybe some animals are more intelligent than others, and, like, it's a whole thing. Yeah, I've had that conversation before. You're big on animal rights? Yeah. But yeah, you and your snails. Of course you are. Which again, boy, we'd have to just remake a whole lot of other stuff. Like our food supply. Before we could even really seriously, because what are we going to, we're just going to grant them rights and then go and set them all free? You know what would happen? Not a whole lot. We bred those animals, most of them, domesticated them to the point that they can't survive on their own. What the fuck do you do with that? You literally cannot set them free. So what then? Oh, yeah. Any update on the squirrel thing? Yes. Yes. That's what I was trying to think of. I knew there was something. Thank you. Oh. A lot on the noggin today. I got to do bookwork tonight. I haven't seen them much since it started snowing. Oh, yeah. Wintertime. I guess you'll have that. The squirrels hibernate. I've definitely seen them in the winter, but you don't see much of them. That's true. Well, actually, I saw one this morning take a heroic dash in front of a car, but this is Tennessee. It doesn't really get winter down here, you know. How are the snails doing? I can't get over how crazy my hair is. I just want it to grow out and not be so crazy. Ugh. I'm dyeing it, of course. And this week I tried the henna and I like it, but I missed a spot and it's a pain in the ass with the paste and blah. Snails are good. They have so many heat mats keeping them warm. They love it. Good. As you can see, our dogs are strong and healthy, and the cat is fending for herself. Da, da, da. One of my cats is being annoying. Well, yeah, that's a cat for you, right? um, we have an older one and a younger one. She's like 7, I want to say, and then the black one is maybe a year. So that's fun. He's a little boy and she's an older lady, and the two of them, sometimes she'll play with him, meowing all night. Oh, part Siamese. Maybe they do that. We've had 1 or 2 Siamese over the years, and they're the ones who like to prowl the house at night and meow. Mhm. Oh, they're pretty though, aren't they? And they keep that trait. They do not have to be pure blood Siamese to have that trait, do they? Mm-mm. I've met some tabby cats with that trait, and I'm like, you're part Siamese in there somewhere because that's a Siamese cat thing. And she's 17. Oh, moved the couch a couple of days ago and she's still upset. Yeah, poor thing. Imagine being that old. Like, theoretically, cats age 8 years for every year, right? So what the fuck is 8 times 17? I don't know. A lot. A lot. Where's my phone? I can't pose a question on this live and stream and not answer it. Come on. Math. Um, 17 times 8 is 136. Wow, imagine being 136. I'd be upset if you moved my couch too. Damn. Oh. Oh dear. Messages for later. Messages for later. Oh, yeah, I remember doing that math as a kid, just somebody told me that, and ever since I'm like, really? So how old are they actually? Like, so ours is, let's say times 7, 56. Yeah, she's an old lady. You have to take these things into account, to consider her needs more than being 136 years old. I mean, and like clearly it can't quite work exactly that way. Cause I want to say the oldest person in the world died last year, and she was 118 or something like that. All 4 of mine are seniors. I've had them since I was 16. Oh, oh, Oh my god, the only thing I know to say is the southern thing. Bless their hearts. Oh my god. That's so sweet. Oh my god. The oldest dog died last month at 33. Wow. I'm sorry for your loss. That's gotta be rough. That dog's older than you, right? Um, yeah. I don't know. The cat I had as a kid lived till she was like 22 or something, but she lived with my mom. Like I had to move out of my house and leave her there when I went off to college. It wasn't my dog, just the record holder. Gotcha. That is a record. Yeah, that's a very old dog. Was it a big dog? It's probably a medium-sized dog, right? Because that's the thing about big ones and little ones is they don't live so long. Your oldest dog lived to 18. Mm. Yeah, I've never really had one before of my own. Now I have a Chihuahua? A 33-year-old Chihuahua? Wow, that's like a purebred? That's even extra unusual. Hmm. Older than me? I'm older than 33. Oh, you're older than me. Cool. How old are you? And along those lines, have you ever thought of retirement? I feel like I'm trying to sell something, but like seriously, like has it ever even entered your plans? The fact that you're supposed to get like some kind of check from the government at some point someday? You are in okay, okay, okay. You're in Alaska, right? That makes you an American. So yeah. I'm 10 minutes behind listening on fast speed. Oh. Oh dear. Ah. uh Do you ever think about that sweet, sweet government pension? At SE. Yay! Ooh. I'm still waiting to get disability for my genetic condition. I've never had a job. I'm 33, still waiting. Government sucks. Right. Right. Oh. So there is somebody older than me here, and I'm gonna have to wait a little while to get the answer to my question. Yeah, I mean, our government sucks, our present government sucks. And like, what the fuck is the government other than essentially like the union for citizens? Like ideally, right? It's supposed to be our like negotiative entity, our collective entity to represent us in negotiations on the world stage, both economically and militarily and whatever. And maybe regulate businesses here at home, so they don't like kill people for profit and stuff. Protect the populace from, you know, things on a systemic level, pollution, that kind of stuff. Uh and maybe to have some sort of thing to support you if you can't work because to protect the populace, so you don't end up homeless. And they drag on the system. Like there's literally a capitalist argument to be made here. No one's making it. Happy workers are efficient workers. Like, hello, you don't need to torment people to be productive, to be solvent, to be, god damn it, profitable. You don't need to torment people for profit. You don't need to do that. I spent my youth squatting and train hopping, so no. No pension available to aging yet healthy non participants. Yeah. Wow. I mean, you have like a social security number, right? Obviously. I mean, but like, I'm not sitting here and counting on my social security to support me in my old age, okay? Because I'm just kind of like that system is already has been teetering on insolvency ever since I've known about it, essentially, unless they fixed something drastic up in there. Because it's supposed to be pay in, pay out, and they haven't been paying into it correctly. They've been using that tax money for other stuff. Meanwhile, there's still a whole ton of old people in this country. Although, actually, I learned something super interesting the other day. The mean age in the United States is 38. The median age, the middle, is 38, which is super close to me. I just turned 40. I'm like, what? Frankly, I expected it, if anything, to be a couple years older than me. But maybe that's just because I live in. Sometimes I think East Tennessee is a glorified retirement community. I thought it'd be older too. Okay, this is cool. Seawolf says, I moved from California to Vancouver Island and benefited from their support for women in the trades. I'm now a plumbing apprentice. That's wicked cool. Vancouver Island. Okay, so that's probably in Canada, right? Are you the one who says greetings from Trinidad? I'm sorry. I am so bad with names if I don't have a face to put it with. You know, the little pictures are cute, but they don't always help. And I'm a hypocrite because I didn't put my face in my picture either. I should redo that picture. I don't know. It's talking about dyeing my hair. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it like this. I mean, the trouble is that I am enjoying it. So. That's really my sticky wicket. That's a good job. Love support women in trades like that. My niece is a laborer. Does she just do like general labor, or I feel like that's a stupid fucking question, but I legitimately don't know. What does that mean? Like you just kind of do whatever needs done that day, or what does that mean? Thanks. Yes, I'm happy with the path. That's great. That's great. And, that's the kind of thing I talk about is pointlessly gendered. Not to bring it back to me, but like the point of this channel is feminism and whatever. And I do tend to just bring things back to that because plumbing is one of those things. Plumbing is one of those things. There's no reason a woman can't do that. There's no reason a woman can't do that. Pointlessly gendered. Oh, it's still warm. Like for the city, working on roads and stuff, it's hard to get women in, for women to get in. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Some girl in my church said she wanted to be an engineer, and my mom went on for ages about how she can't. Why? My dad wouldn't help my niece. He worked there his whole life, but since she's a woman, he wouldn't help her get in. She did it to spite him. You mean in spite of him? Like, I'm sure she would have pursued it even if he had not been an asshole. And they say feminism is over. Oh my God. Trades are great for women, of course. Of course. Like, I have my own funny story about that because I'm actually, uh, I discovered in college I have a talent for like soldering stuff, circuit boards and whatever. We take good care of the tools. That sounds sexist, but it's probably true. Uh, she was the golden grandchild until she came out. Oh, in spite of, well, but also he's mean because she's a lesbian. She was the golden grandchild until she came out. Ooh. Ugh. He sounds like a real piece of pie. Just sounds like a wonderful man. Yeah. Hmm. I don't know. This is one of the things I complain about all the time. Like on a daily basis, there is commonly some old man in my way. To the point where I am often heard to say that the day there is not some old man in my way will be a red letter day. Like it doesn't literally happen every day, but it happens often enough. Some little old man in a truck, some little old man with his cart in the middle of the grocery store aisle, some little, you know what I'm just. So, on a day when there isn't some old boomer, some boomer in my way, it'll be a good day. It'll be an amazing day. It's just life in a nutshell. Sometimes it feels like, yeah, women in the trades. I mean, hell yeah. And I had a talent for soldering, I came to find out, and just little detail oriented stuff like that in electronics. And, well, how dudes are when there's a girl in the room who's better at something than they are. Like, some of my college experience resembled more what like high school was supposed to be like in that way. It's stupid, petty shit. Time for work. Bye. See ya. Have a good day at work. Oh, Critical Kitty. I have not forgotten about our email correspondence. Christmas time was busy as fuck around here. And I had been sort of percolating on it. And I wonder if maybe we shouldn't approach it from like that angle of abuse versus coping mechanism. And like how somebody might be abusive by taking advantage of someone's coping mechanisms. You know what I mean? I think that might be a productive area of discussion because I don't know that anybody's really talking about that. But we kind of got to talking about that, And I still want to do that, up here in the next couple of months or something, maybe, because it's just such an interesting, well, it's such an interesting topic and it kind of branches off in a lot of different directions. Yeah, that's a worthwhile discussion. I know it happens a lot, actually. Right. And you know more about it than I would. See, to me, this is all pretty much just a theory. And I know I don't say hypothesis because I think I've observed it in action. But me personally, I tend to stay away from that stuff, so I wouldn't know firsthand. And then if we wanted to actually be helpful to anybody, we could maybe offer some kind of, excuse me, just one or two general tips maybe on how to avoid becoming a victim of that kind of thing. It'll probably be unavoidable, actually. In the conversation, we'll probably end up at a couple of points where we're like, yeah, that was a red flag. If you see this, run, right? Nope, it's a thing. The BDSM community hates talking about it, so they don't like me because I'll talk about everything. Well, you're definitely more than welcome to come over here and talk about that kind of stuff. I'm just so interested in, like, again, how the subjective experience, interplays with like the material reality that is there, and denying either the existence of either of those things denies us that interplay, which is literally life. Like, It tries to make everything static, which is like such a narcissistic thing, right? Like perfection is not attainable. Everything is constantly changing. The only constant is change, right? Like you can't freeze something in amber just the way you want it. Like it doesn't. Life does not work that way. Life is constant interplay between you and the outside world, and like denying the existence of subjective experience or the material world in favor of the other and denies us that dynamism. So, boo. Yeah, especially if they're like trying to squelch you or something, or the discussion in general. Well, shoot, that's a hook right there. Right? Because, like I say, if you wanted to, I mean, and you can just be audio, that's fine. I can put up whatever video you want, but I'd like to maybe do like some pre-recorded stuff and actually do, a video on this because, frankly, they get a lot more views than these lives do. Especially since I think we're starting to really shape something interesting here. They're also very, very pro-trans. Yeah, well, obviously, they're the kind of people who are going to pretend the outside world doesn't exist in favor of their subjective experience, aren't they? Sweet. Sweet. The question would be, how in the fuck do I record the audio? I mean, I don't know. I guess you could just like talk into a microphone and send it to me, like answer some questions. Or, I mean, I don't know. I'd love to do an interview, like an actual interview, because those are so much more fun to do and to watch. And if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine. We would just have to figure out how to do it. And I'm trying to approach all this philosophizing from a woman-centered perspective, which I feel makes it essentially feminist. And like I've been thinking about TikTok lately, and I know that sounds horrible. I still don't go on there. I don't even have it on my phone. I literally would not know what to do with it. I've never opened it. I've never touched the damn thing. But I don't exist over there as far as I know. We could do Zoom, have a mic and camera. Okay, cool. Yeah. And I could record that. That'd be great. No, but so I want to, somehow approach the TikTok at some point in the near future because I'm writing a book and I'd like to promote the book and it's the biggest platform on the fucking planet. And I'm going to come on there essentially just as an author, and obviously have it linked to all the YouTube stuff and everything. I don't feel like they contradict one another at all. But I don't have to be overtly political. I just feel that I sort of approach everything from a baseline female perspective in a conscious way, And again, the book is, I don't want to say extremely feminist, but like the themes, oh my goodness, all the stuff I talk about on here. You get a pretty good idea of some of the themes of the book if you listen to these lives and stuff that I babble about. But yeah, so that was what I was thinking about that, was that I wanted to approach that maybe from a not overtly political angle because, and this occurred to me a few weeks ago, that like that girl's, not Sybil, the other one. The other cute little girl with the short sandy colored hair I was talking about the other week. Nadine. was talking, she clearly spends too much time on TikTok. Like to the day that she recorded that video, the way she talks about it, you could tell that she's just like really still on TikTok. And you know who she didn't run into on TikTok? Any rad femmes or gender critical people of any kind to this day, because she's gone from full on trans liberal, whatever, now over to conservative politics. And it's like, but wait. Like there are other options. It's not just that those two sides of that fence, right? She's 16. She's got a lot of time, hopefully. But if you're just have stuff thrown at you by the algorithm, and you're taking that as in any way the real world. Well, it's not, first of all. But secondly, it's suppressing. It's picking and choosing things for people. That's what it does. It's very good at that, apparently. Spookily good at that. Eerily good at that, right? So it's going to be eerily good at not showing them anything overtly radical feminist. So fuck that. I'm not going to do that. Why am I going to be throwing good money after bad? Why would I, just hurl my shit down a black hole? No. They don't exist on TikTok. They all got shut down. Exactly. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to do something else. Something next to that. Right? Maybe something fiction central, fiction centric, something harmless. Right? Most TRAs say that rad femmes are exactly the same in their opposition to mainstream trans activism as conservatives, and it's just not true. Bugbear of mine. Yeah. Well, and how in the hell would anybody know that? I saw something the other day, and I don't know who this woman is. I don't know who this dude is either. The channel, like J.K. Rowling, isn't out here saying men shouldn't wear dresses. No. Because that would be loopy. That would be a loopy, kooky thing to say. Because why not? Clothing is pointlessly gendered for the most part. Most men don't need a bra. I will say that. But I don't need that little slit in the front of the boxer shorts. I don't need that for anything. But most clothing is completely pointlessly gendered. That's so dumb. And I feel bad for guys like in the South, in the summer, it's 95 degrees outside. They have to wear pants. Why? Why can't they throw on a nice big caftan or something? Go Arab with it. I don't understand. Why can't they wear a skirt? Why do I hate Blair? Oh, I don't hate Blair. And now Karen Davis is calling for men in dresses to be arrested. That's too much. Why? Oh, because she's an escalator. I hate to say it. Oh, yeah, and I mentioned that last week. I dipped my toe into that, and I wanted to say, I looked into that a little bit further, and I'm just going to say that there is some kookiness going on both sides over there, and that's the clothing, that's the fashion police, the literal fashion police. Are you serious? Come on. That's stupid. That's stupid. You want to talk about a waste of legislative time? Oh my God. Because, first of all, you have to prove that the person in the dress is a man before you can arrest them, right? Uh-oh. I like it over here better, no drama. Yeah, because I don't want it. I genuinely don't like that shit. I don't. That's not what we're doing over here. That's not what I'm building over here. I'm actually trying to build something, and it's really difficult to build something when you're constantly rabble-rousing, isn't it? No wonder there's no sniping goes on over there. They say you build the community, you get the community you deserve. Well, and so, yeah, I'm just kind of staying away from that. And I try to again, not be militant about stuff and actually reason through stuff and not use shorthand like mental heuristics, and ask questions and all that stuff. But then again, I'm pretty secure in my position. There's definitely stuff going on out there that makes me nervous sometimes, but that's what made me laugh so hard about Vera Wild talking about how the gender criticals are going to come and take your womanhood. It's good luck with that. You haven't managed to do it. Why would they? Thank you. And respect to you too for hanging with me, because I know we disagree on some stuff, but that's so important to be able to agree to disagree. It's the fundamentals of community building. Hello. And it would be so, I've said this 1,000 times, I'll say it again, it would be so arrogant of me to assume that I could tell you how to be happier in your life. I've never met you. I don't know that. What the fuck? Frankly, I learn more hanging around people with whom I disagree on a lot. Yeah, right. Well, see, the thing about learning is that you have to first admit you didn't know something. And you can see how that might conflict with a lot of people's perception of themselves in the world, right? Like they don't feel like they're able to do that. If you can never admit that you don't know something, you'll never learn anything. Which is one of the reasons I don't do that, because I fucking love learning shit. I love learning stuff. That's like one of my favorite hobbies. And first you have to ask the question. You can't ask questions if you're not willing to admit you don't know something. Me. Which is one of the, again, I just don't engage with a lot of those people. What the fuck is the point? Why am I going to waste my time and energy, which is valuable to me because I have only so much? I'm trying to argue with somebody who is not looking to learn anything. I'm not going to teach them anything. That's, no. Doesn't make any sense. They can go be pig-headed on their own time. Which is funny because I had somebody come in here a minute ago and ask me why I hate Blair. That's like clearly a troll, right? I don't know if they're still here because I don't bait trolls. Like I just don't hate Blair White. Again, I've never met Blair White. I'm gonna waste my time on that. Curious question: are any of the other turf YouTubers also on TikTok? That's what we were talking about a minute ago. And Kitty, I think it was said that they are all, they all get axed when they try to do TikToks. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, one assumes, because like I say, it's massive. And there's apparently, various little corners for all kinds of different stuff over there. But I don't know. Based on the impression of stuff that people, the responses that I'm seeing to this and to TikTok from the various corners of this and that, I don't think so. Just because no one seems to be interacting with any of it. No one's responding to any of that stuff. Which, if it was there, you'd think they would be. Because I see all sorts of TikTok response videos. It's a popular genre on the YouTube right now. And I've never seen that genre. You'd think I would if it existed. Which is what I'm saying. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to throw my content in a hole, basically. I'm not going to do that. I think a slightly twisted female tried to have one. I doubt it's still up. Yeah. She should have one. She seems like the sort of person who would really flourish on a platform like that. I don't mean that any particular way. That might have sounded facetious or like I'm trying to be like insult her or something, but like, no. It's part of the reason I'm not on it. And, part of the reason her channels are different than mine. I respect a lot of the stuff that she does, but like, boy, is she an extrovert. Am I right? And I'm not. So, I love her like up there screaming into a microphone. I'm like, because I'm not, I don't want to be that person. Oh, I don't want to be that person. Oh. I would be if the opportunity arose and they actually had one of those like let women speak events anywhere within 300 miles of my house. I would be, but I'm not going to organize one. I'm not that person. I'm just not that person. Yeah. Right. So again, as on a personal level, the idea of approaching the TikTok from a little bit more of a remove, through the book stuff, and just, we're just going to put the Rad Femme stuff in there because obviously I still have a message. Like, obviously, I still have stuff to do. And clearly we're not being represented out there anywhere. So, like, somebody needs to get busy with that. I don't know why on earth it would be me, but apparently no one else has thought of this. Thank you. Apparently no one else has thought of this. So that's probably what we're going to do. Be warned. I'm thinking probably later this year, maybe in the summer. I have to finish the damn thing again first. Because that's not going to be deja vu as shit. This is about the time I started the third book last year. Jesus. Where does the time go? Oh. No, I've gotten it started. It's I just have to take it one little step at a time. I just have to take it one little step at a time. Oh my goodness. And at this point, it's getting to the point where like I just sort of want to get it over with. So I'm starting to get motivated, it's just one of those things. Ugh. Where it's like a heavy, heavy, heavy thing I'm trying to move, and I gotta get some momentum built up. Does that make sense? I'm happy with the first scene that I did the other night though. So that's good. I got a good solid start. That helps. We did last year. I was in spaces on Twitter trying to explain to radfems how TikTok followers work, but they couldn't stop arguing amongst themselves long enough to listen to me, so I gave up. Yeah. Wow. It only takes one, escalator. I don't want to say instigator because you don't have to instigate disagreements between people. All you have to do is, be the one to lob the grenade, be the one to escalate the situation. Like, Kitty, you wear makeup, get out of here. Oh my God. Yes, I've seen that shit too. I've seen that shit too. To the point where I am self-conscious about wearing mascara so that my eyelashes match my hair. Which is the kind of thing that if you didn't know me, you wouldn't even know. It's literally the only thing I do because I don't like having shit on my face. But that's me. I've heard people say it feels like they're war paint and they don't feel, really fully boisterously present without it. Which is weird, but okay. I was just talking about how I keep on dyeing my hair. So, whatever works, I guess. But like, yeah, multiple groups, each group split off into their own group. So it was so stupid. Yeah. And another thing, I think another theory I have is that Twitter is full of the loudest people. The ones who want to be in the mix and be in the conversation. They might not necessarily be the ones we should be listening to. Just a thought. Kind of like how the guy who wants the authority the most is probably the last guy who should have it. Kind of like that. That's how I feel. I'm me with makeup on. See? And which is, its own sort of not to untangle of why and is that healthy? And is there maybe another way to accomplish that? Because what if you get stuck in the woods? You don't want to have a nervous breakdown, because you didn't find your makeup bag or something. Like, it's a chink in the armor, right? But it's not political like that. What the fuck? The ones who have a hashtag take. Right. Maybe they're not the people who should be the final word on stuff. Just a thought. But so, and yeah, I have like a lot of thoughts about makeup. But like, I just don't feel that it's, and you know what? If it might be a political thing, guess what? We have to unpack all of our own personal stuff first. Because like we as a group literally can't even talk about this, can we? Right? We can't even talk about this. It's so embroiled somewhere near the center of everyone's internalized misogyny. Right? So this one sets everybody off. I'd be interested in a video on makeup. It's probably not going to have a positive tone, right? I'm not what you might call a fan. I hear it's toxic. And the beauty industry, etc., etc. Which, duh, and seems like boilerplate and boring to me. You know me. I have to have some kind of like philosophical weird angle on stuff or I'm not interested. So, the one group made it political by talking about vaccines. Like, this has nothing to do with feminine. Yeah. Oh my God. That's the angle you're interested in, is the beauty industry and whatnot, whatever. I mean, that is an interesting angle. Oh yeah, it is. But again, that video's been made, and I feel like there are people who've made it better than I could, especially with the lack of time that I have. Like, y'all, if I had the time, if I had more time to like really, 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 you know, like the week I made the witch video, I was stuck home all week, so I couldn't run errands. I'm not interested in talking about makeup. To me, it's a white woman thing. It's something you have the privilege to talk about when you're very comfortable. Okay. So, I mean, you see me wearing my full face of whatever, right? So, like I say, I don't feel like I would have a whole lot to necessarily add on the topic that other people couldn't say better. And yeah, inevitably, anything that I would end up saying would be like from a white woman's perspective. That's true. I don't care how anyone decorates their face. I care about their politics. Sort of like it's not what you do. Say it's what you do. It's not how you look. It's what you believe in. Bodily integrity isn't a feminist issue. What? Isn't it though? Yeah. Bodily integrity is a feminist issue at the very least because of like abortion rights and stuff, right? There's a famous joke about Nestle baby formula being a lesbian issue. You had to be there. White women make makeup a big deal in the 80s, and it was hell to live through. I don't want to go through that again. Baby formula being a lesbian issue. You had to be there. Well, to be fair, I technically was there in the 80s, but I was 6 when they ended, so yeah. Your mileage may vary. Everything is a lesbian issue. I mean, when you say that, like, it dares people to come up with an exception, right? I'm not gonna, because I don't disagree on its face. Yeah. I was in my 20s. The facial nudity police were not fun to deal with. Like it was mandatory back then. I've heard that. Maybe prostate cancer isn't a lesbian issue. Yeah. In the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking like frat boy problems are probably not lesbian issues. But then, like frat boys are a lesbian issue. So but like dumb shit guys deal with, it's probably not lesbian issues because you don't. One of the benefits of being a lesbian, right? You don't deal with dumb guy shit. Hopefully, ideally, I don't think those people would appreciate my makeup either, to be honest. Right. Because the 80s were really conformist, right? Despite the fact that they were supposedly living on the edge of the space age and whatever, and pushing frontiers and everything at the same time. They were, anyone can have a prostate. How dare you? This is my channel and I shall say what I like. Lesbians don't have prostates. There, I said it. You were excluded socially if you did not conform to the Caucasian boy aesthetic. Ugh. Women of color, especially Native women with long hair, had big issues with white women deciding how we all should look. Ugh. I forgot about the trans beings with prostates. Right? How could we possibly forget about them when they are so loud? It's like they're men or something with all that noise they make. Feeling entitled to be the center of the conversation and all that. It's bizarre. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow that in your face. Ella Ben Haggai and Nicole Seymour. Is lesbian identity obsolete? Ugh. Read this paper if you haven't already. It's so funny. It says that lesbianism fights climate change. Oh my God, did you see the Jubilee debate with Blair? It was just like two gay guys arguing. I think I saw a clip of that somewhere, but only if it's grounded in politics of inclusion and solidarity. Wait, lesbianism is not about inclusion, is it? What did I miss? What? Like, and I don't say this in any kind of a moral way, but lesbianism is pretty much exclusionary by its very nature. That's that's what makes it what it is. They exclude men. What is the, right, it's the one place where you get to be exclusive. Right, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, the TRAs are blaming climate chaos on lesbians. I didn't know we were so powerful. I didn't either. That's amazing. I've had a couple of lesbians over the years that have been really cool. My aunt is a lesbian and a good friend of mine from college. And when I say that, I mean they're like proudly, my aunt is one of the most butch women I've ever known in my life. But and she and her partner have been together forever, since the 70s. Okay, forever. So, there's another argument they used to make against gay marriage is that gays don't know how to have stable relationships. So that's not true. I've known that my whole life. Plot twist, the oil barons were royal baronesses all along and they're lesbians. Oh my God. Oh. Wow, I believe lesbians make up maybe 2% of the population. So you guys are powerful. Nobody knows how to have a stable relationship. Nobody knows how to have a stable relationship. Ah, yes. That's a good point. And very true. Well, we're all unstable, aren't we, as human beings? Come on. I mean, be fair. You have to have a stable relationship with yourself, and good luck with that. Because we're all unstable weirdos. You have to have a stable relationship with Jesus Christ. No, I'm kidding. No, but somebody said that a couple of weeks ago, and I keep remembering that because it makes me laugh so hard. They were waiting for me to mention God and Jesus. I'm like, you're not paying attention. I know you're not paying attention. I do not base any of my arguments on the Bible. Unless it's literally an argument about something in the Bible. Wording, or I don't know. When we try to have more egalitarian, healthy relationships, the poor and safe boys show up, and the man we include them. So we just can't win. Yeah, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Because you can't be a boy and be a lesbian. Oh my God. Does anybody know that old song, I Wish I Was a Lesbian? Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Oh my God. I saw a crazy video that the woman was saying Jesus saved her from sleep paralysis when she stopped sleeping with women. Wow, that's not how that works at all. But she can't. I'm not going to tell her that she didn't have some amazing psychosomatic remission of her sleep paralysis, but it wasn't Jesus. Right? Oh my gosh. The power of the mind is amazing. Maybe she felt guilty for some reason about sleeping with women in the first place, because internalized homophobia. I'm just spitballing here. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. I've never slept with a woman and I have sleep paralysis. I spent my last $10 on birth control and beer. My life was so much easier when I was sober and queer. Good song. That does sound like a good song. That sounds like a country song. It's not the one I was talking about. I Wish I Was a Lesbian is sung by a dude who is not singing about himself, but something his girlfriend said. So it's self-deprecating right from the very start. And I remember it being funny, but it's been a long time. They sang it at Mishfest. I can't remember the artist. Oh. $10 for birth control and beer. Damn, that was a while ago, huh? It sounds like a lesbian country song. I love it. It was the 80s, yeah. Gas was 50 cents a gallon. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Stop. Stop. Actually, I'm just stoked to see it under $3 a gallon, right? Because I don't know about anybody else. Like, apparently, this didn't happen here in Tennessee, but I know in Ohio, like, after the BP oil spill in like 2005 or something, gas prices went up to like over $4 a gallon and stayed there for years. I didn't think I was ever going to see gas under $3 a gallon again. Minimum wage is $3 an hour. This is a lesbian country group. Yeah, right. Cool. Cool. That sounds great. And of course, they shut that place down. They shut that shit down. Oh my god. So I'm not a lesbian. I'm bisexual. So, we don't really have exclusive clubs because you can't do that. But and because like it's funny, you can be one and not even realize that we exist. Anyway, but so I sympathize with the not being straight thing. Dana Rivers, the murderer, was right outside Mishfest. They found out later someone fired a gun at the main gate. Right, right. Dana Rivers was the person who murdered those people in Michigan, right? The mother and daughter, I think it was. Jeez. Dana is traditionally a man's name anyway, so good job there. Oh, did he choose that? You don't even know where to begin. You never slept with a woman. You have sleep paralysis. I'm sorry to hear you have sleep paralysis. I don't know what causes that. I think it might just be like not even a psychosomatic thing. I think that's just straight up neurological, like along the lines of narcolepsy. Where people just sort of fall asleep without warning, without meaning to. David Warfield from California murdered a lesbian couple and their son in Oakland. Ugh. Ugh. Like, I can't believe anyone has to say this, but killing people is wrong. And it's part of my narcolepsy, which was caused by a oh. I'm sorry, honey. Trauma and brain damage, you're right. So it's not something you're going to just get over by changing your sleeping arrangements. Yeah. That sounds terrifying. Everything I've read about that sounds terrifying. And like, I have this blessing that I know was a blessing, wherein I'm either awake to some degree or asleep. I don't have like a big foggy twilight zone like I know some people do. My husband is one of them. He will sit up in bed, eyes open. We have whole conversations that this man claims not to remember, which sounds like bullshit, but he's done this his whole life. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Critical. Yeah. The only way to combat it is to sleep on your stomach. It occurs when you sleep on your back, which is very interesting. I have a tendency to wake up on my back without meaning to. I can't sleep on my stomach because I have back problems. So, meh. My sister does the same in her sleep. Yeah, I think it's fairly common. You wake up on your back without meaning to. Thank you. It's cool though. I'm out now away from my dad, so I sleep fine. That's good. I wouldn't be surprised if some of it were psychological, and I think that your mind, can affect your brain more than people like to admit. Like, obviously. You want to talk about interplay between you and the material world. That's the basic essence of it. Oh, I meant have whole conversation sleep. Oh, your sister has whole conversation sleep talking. Yeah, wow. I thought he was shitting me at first. I'm like, oh, bullshit, But yeah, I guess come to find out, some people do have this sort of broad sort of netherworld in between awake and asleep. I don't have that. If I'm conscious, I am some level of conscious and I will remember it later. You might have to remind me if it's first thing in the morning, but I'll be like, oh, yeah, right. Because it's right there. It's just, off in the corner. And it never occurred to me to think of that as a good thing, as a blessing to like either be awake or asleep. That's the kind of thing. Her sleep talking and sleepwalking will be much more likely around her period, interestingly. It was definitely mostly psychological because I've had minimal experience with it since I moved. Interesting. Because you just gave us, and I'm not trying to poke holes in your story at all, but you just gave us the reason why it might be neurological, right? Huh. That's fascinating. That's so interesting. I mean, and what's your take on that? Because you could have reason to just have that neurologically, like it's a physical problem. That's why I wonder about it. Yeah. Like not sleeping with women anymore. Like, so maybe that was a guilty conscience. I don't know. That's weird. Like in that case, you know, internalized homophobia was giving her sleep terrors. I mean, it sounds Freudian, but it sounds plausible. And it's a way to explain that without invoking Jesus. Wonder if you're neurologically healing now that the trigger is absent. Yeah, right. Was okay? There's a question. Could be. I didn't even think of that in her case. Could have been right. And in your case, okay, here's a question. So when you left that environment, was it like a tapering off of these experiences, or was it like a drop off where they were just all of a sudden much less frequent? Oh shit! I gotta go in 15 minutes. Oh my god! Thanks, you guys. This is so much fun. I totally lost track of time. And again, so that's not discounting that woman's experience, right? I'm questioning her interpretation of her experience. Unless Jesus literally came, appeared to you and said, I have taken your sleep paralysis because you stopped sleeping with women. And even then, I have some questions, but still, tapering off for sure. It's been 3 years, maybe once a week the first year, then once a month. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that definitely sounds like just a healing over time once you're away from that environment, which is probably psychological and neurological, right? Thank you. It's nice to see a sane person on YouTube for a change. Like, same. That's why we have a small community over here. Jesus Was a Lesbian by Nedra Johnson is a great song, too. I'm going to write that one down. Quality over quantity. Exactly. Exactly. We're doing a slow burn over here. We're probably going to monetize in the next month or so, though. So that's going to be exciting. I'm going to write that down. Where's my notebook? Here we go. My goodness, I had somebody recommend a song a while back, and I guess this was actually kind of a hit song. The oh shit, Labor. That song made me fucking cry, and they were like, "You should listen to the rest of her stuff." I'm like, "I should not." It's just as good. I'm sure it is. Oh my god. Every time you need her, she will come. That's great. By Nedra Johnson. Anyways, yeah, I get recommended some great stuff on here. And oh, Mary, I don't know if you're still around, but we were talking about Barbie. I finally like it's on Netflix apparently, so I can just watch it. At this point, I'm kind of scared too, but I probably should. I probably will here in the next couple of weeks, and then maybe we can talk about it if you still want to. The white women at Mishfest usually got mad at the black women for holding a gospel hour on Sunday where Nedra sang Jesus is a lesbian. Why? Were they all of a sudden Christians or something? Nedra still goes to the Michigan family gathering reunions. Oh, that's cool. They still have some kind of thing that they get together and do. That's great. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. Like, as if they're going to actually let those assholes keep them down, right? I don't know, because they were white. That's why we needed the women of color to. Like, okay, full disclosure, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I went to Cleveland Heights High School. Like, I lived 20 plus years of my life in a black community and went to a black high school. I have the experience of being the only white person in a room full of people many times over. I don't get what the big fucking whoop-de-doo is. I'm sorry. And if, women of color want to have their thing that they go and do, and I don't get to come to that, okay. I don't have to get that. But like, why on earth a bunch of white women are going to make I don't understand. I would not have been among them. I would have been like, this is a funny gospel song. Like, what? Like, nervously over in the corner, like, am I allowed in this tent to listen to the gospel music? Like, I don't. Women still gather at the same spot in August. Killer. It's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, I don't. And you'll hear it come out of my mouth every so often, and I try not to do that because I know I'm like white as a sheet, but I can't help it. It's in my internal monologue, okay? Because I grew up in that culture. I don't understand. I don't get what the big fucking whoop-de-doo is. I love how you read my comments with such personality. Oh, yeah, thank you. I mean, I try, because you bothered to write them. Right? Oh. I feel like I read that one monotone, so that's ironic. I'm a caring helper. Yeah, right. Content, give me content. I'm just standing here talking to myself. How boring. How boring. I can do that without a camera on. I am going to go with 2, though, because I have so many other things to do. I need to look at my book, and I don't want to, but I'm gonna. Because I don't know if you heard this story, but like I finished it last year before I like really solidified one of the key characters or solved the mystery of the book. Then I took the summer off to do mom stuff because kids were home from school, and over the intervening time, I solved the mystery. And this character starts to gel in this other like better way, and I'm like, oh Christ! And so I tried, I'm trying to like fit it in with what I've already got, and well, the whole thing fell apart. The third segment, it's a 3-part story, and the whole third part fell apart. So I have to put it back together. Blah. But and I don't know if you're much of a reader, but it's in a nutshell, Victorian historical fiction with witches. So fun, right? And I've done a lot of nonfiction. I had a blog. I still have the blog. Like, it still exists. I haven't published anything on it in a while, but witches are fun, right? Yeah, of course. Who doesn't love a good witch story? And I know exactly where it's going, and I know exactly what I want to do and how and all of this, and I just have to do it. Yeah. But I did cheat on the world building, and it is essentially just Victorian England. There's a lot of like writing advice out there about world building, and I just kind of skipped most of that because I'm like, well, the real world sort of did that for me, so I don't have to worry about government systems or politics or blah blah. Well, there's definitely politics, but like I don't have to, how do people dress? What languages do they speak? What countries do they? I don't have to worry about that. Where are the geographical features of my world? No, I don't have to do any of that. That really expedited the whole writing process. I could just kind of get to the meat of the thing, which is like the characters and the stuff that happens and all that. I hear people tend to get like lost in world building, and I'm just like, how? What are you doing? That's not storytelling. I don't understand. To each their own process, I suppose. And like, not everybody used to do speed writing for fun in middle school. Like, we had a club. The school had a club. We used to go to, like, in groups on a bus and sit down in a room, and it would be like, here's your writing prompt. You have 45 minutes and go, and like for fun. So it's been a long time coming. And like I was saying earlier, at 40, I'm just a little baby writer, right? And that's one of the nice things about the author world is you can be an old fuck and nobody cares. And people are not going to be worried about whether you have makeup on or not, are they? No. It's just a different sort of flavor. That would be my nightmare unless I could do nonfiction. Oh, writing and the speed writing thing. Right, yeah. 40 is younger than you realize. Wait till 60. No, I know. I'm just a little baby writer. And there are some circles in which being 40 is like, ooh. And authorship is not one of them. The best part of getting older is not caring about how you look and what people think of you. So far, my favorite thing about getting older is learning more. But then I didn't super care about how I look to begin with. I just never was super preoccupied with that. Partly because I lived too much in my head, wisdom. Right. I'm starting to have the slightest feeling that I might have some inkling of what the fuck is going on. And it only took 40 years, right? And then I'm going to smoke this because it's not all wisdom. Sometimes it's stress, I'm at that part of your life when like everything is going on, everything, kids, parents, trying to do any kind of creative anything, career, husband's trying to build his, everything, and just everything's going on at the same time. So, yep. So that's my excuse. But no one's going to bitch about me for my coffee won't kill me, right? Coffee I can still have forever. But yeah, the caring about what other people think of you, I think to some extent is a healthy impulse. But like, especially when you're younger, like that level of self-awareness when it first pops, so it pops online is like so painful almost, right? And I think some people never get over that. Coffee is healthy. Yeah. I don't know how much coffee I drink is healthy. Or all the sugar that I put in it. But that's not the coffee's fault. I never cared what anyone thought, but it's an autism thing. Right, that tunnel vision. I've heard about that. You also escaped the male gaze around 50, except for Madonna. She has clung to it like a junkie to their pipe. Like, that one. Whatever. That one shows, symptoms and signs of stuff going way back. So, I have noticed that the older I get, the more invisible I become, which is nice. I'm fine with that. I can be loud and articulate, obviously. I have enough of a mouth on me that I'm not so worried about just disappearing. Especially if I start now, and establish myself as whatever. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to be famous. But it would be nice to be well known among people who care about stuff that I do. Does that make sense? Have you seen the show Grace and Frankie? Yes. I watched most of that just because I enjoyed the interplay between those two actresses so much. Like, Lily Tomlin is just funny. And oh my God, what's the other one's name? That woman looks like she was frozen in amber in 1980. It was so freaky. Oh my God. Oh, and the gay husbands. Oh my God. Jane Fonda. Yeah. Yeah, that's her. I know. My mom and I watch because we love Lily and Jane Fonda. See, I love Lily Tomlin forever. Lily Tomlin won my heart in 9 to 5, right? And but right, it's not that I like Jane Fonda. It's the interplay between the two of them, right? Was hilarious to me. I got the sense that they didn't like hang out off set. You know what I'm saying? And they were cast to be the opposites of one another. Lily's deadpan humor kills me. Exactly. Exactly. And like I loved how they established like the intense rapport that she had developed with the guy who used to do stuff on the History Channel. What's his name? Her husband in the show. And he was on like Law and Order or something. You know the guy, the tall one. Gotta go, but I hope everyone has a great weekend. See you next time. Bye bye, Logical. I gotta go soon too. Have a great one. See you later. Them together was great. Right. Yeah, exactly. Them together was like chocolate and peanuts. It's great. Oh, it is. It's 2:00. Sam Waterston. Yes. Him. Excuse me. Like the way they drew those characters, how they clearly had developed this like intense rapport between the two of them with her in the lead like the whole way. But gently. And like that characterization was just had so much depth to me, especially in the first season. I thought that was really interesting the way they wrote that, how those characters had clearly had this long history of communication together. I like Sam Waterston better than Jane Fonda. She's so sanctimonious. Right. Yeah, no. And Jane Fonda is one of those women who, like, if you really know anything about her, I've noticed people really find it difficult to, like, separate her from, like, her work. Which to me, like, you've failed as an artist then, have you not? If you're so polarizing as a person that, like, people literally avoid your work just because you're in it. Whatever it is you're trying to communicate to the masses, you're failing at that. I'm just saying. I don't know anything about her except exercise videos. Yeah. Oh, God. Hanoi Jane. Oh, boy. That's the thing that this family, I married into this. They can't stand her. Like, he literally would not watch that show with me because of Hanoi Jane. So, yeah. I heard about that at some length. She's a very, very... She's one of those people who likes to get in front of cameras and make extreme political statements. And sometimes after the fact, you kind of left scratching your head saying, wait a minute, why was that again? Yeah. When Fonda was posing in a bathing suit posing in a bathing suit in on Golden Pond, I was with a whole theater of lesbians that hissed at the screen loudly. Oh my God. Okay. Not her politics so much as her hypocrisy. But she's so loud about it. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like she could believe all the same shit that she believes and keep it to herself. And not have to make such big bombastic statements about stuff. To the point where she gets news coverage. Like, that's insane. You are an actress. Stay in your lane. And it's not a wonder to me that it's, affected her career. Lesbians used to go out in public in large groups together back in the day. Oh, that sounds fun. I didn't even blink at the idea of a theater full of lesbians. I was like, oh, okay. And they're hissing at a pretty girl in a bathing suit. Like, yeah. That means something. Didn't Fonda marry a rich man? Oh, probably. I don't know. I don't remember. I know just about enough about her to know that I don't really want to know any more about her. Because I have enjoyed a couple of things that she's been in, and I would like to continue doing that. Because I don't feel like my knowing about her and hating her, therefore, is going to change anything other than my own enjoyment of a few television shows that I like. So, yeah. Younger women can't imagine what we had in the past. Oh. Yeah. I have heard tell. Like I say, my aunt's an older lesbian. I've heard tell. And one of my good friends in college, as far as I know, she still does drag shows as as a drag king. Like, but like in her life, she is a lesbian woman, like a butch lesbian woman, and never made any bones about that. But she's my age, so. And just generally, the idea of any kind of like culture that's been obliterated is tragic. And if it isn't the just most emblematic example of how women can't have nice things, then I don't know what is. I thought I'd spend my life fighting for animal rights. I never thought I'd have to rewind and fight for women's rights in my lifetime, honestly. Yes. Yes. Thank you. In a nutshell. In one sentence. Yeah. I really can't believe we're having some of these conversations either. It feels like along the lines of saying killing people is wrong. It feels like that. It's that elemental, right? That we're having to have these same conversations that you go back and you read and if women were having these same conversations 50 fucking years ago. Oh, it's just upsetting. But then, like, all the more reason, right? We gotta make it stick this time. Which, again, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. Is part of the reason I'm turning to fiction. Because fiction gets past a lot of the barriers, doesn't it? So, I never thought I'd live to see the day when I'd have to argue with young people about whether lesbians are penises. That conversation is unique. Don't we wish it was? Don't we wish it was? I wish I hadn't had that conversation with so many more than one person. That's legitimately part of the reason I'm not on Twitter anymore. Is because I got tired of seeing the same shit over and over and over. And it's like, no, I batted this one down 5 times already. Why in the fuck am I having to say this again? No, I'm not interested in having the same argument over and over and over again. Like, do we have to argue with each of them individually? I don't feel like that's necessary or productive. Yeah, so no, I'm trying to go high. I'm trying to go big picture, big, broad, not even a broad 10, because it's not a 10, it's fiction. Not once in the 80s did anyone suggest that men dressed as women can have periods either. This is new in human history. Yeah, and I worry about people saying that kind of shit to my niece. Yeah, like I have 2 kids in high school. I worry about that stuff all the time. And like my son refers to some of his friends as they constantly to the point where it is confusing, where I'm like, I will become confused because I will think we are talking about more than one person. So, yeah, that shit has started to actually granularly affect my life on a minute-to-minute level, which is annoying as shit. As far as I know, he is still a he. But he's a straight boy. I think that helps. Multiple personalities. No wonder the youth are confused. They have so much anxiety. Multiple personalities. Yeah. Well, you can be a man and a woman at the same time somehow. So figure that shit out. Before you even have a solid grasp on the world. It's confusing as fuck. I refuse to engage with the non-binary stuff. Right. Ugh. Before 2000, you never heard anyone say they have anxiety, and you never heard anyone being on psych meds. Well, in some circles, maybe. Norma Bates and Buffalo Bill had that shit figured out. Well, they had it represented anyway. Like, I was legit on psych meds in the 90s, so I can't say that. They put me on, shit. What was it? An antidepressant when I was 12, so that would have been 1995-ish. I was, but I was special. It's very rare in my circles. Yeah, well, see, and that's, I feel like an edgelord saying this, but like, I was raised by atheists and Wiccans, like Mensons, like engineers and weirdos and iconoclasts and people who thought they were smarter. And, I was diagnosed with OCD in preschool, antidepressants at 12. Wow. See, and in my opinion, and speaking even for myself, I think that's too early because your brain is still super developing. Like you still have adolescence to go through at that point. It started in the early 90s with the teachers being able to diagnose, but it exploded in the 21st century. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Like the medication thing has skyrocketed. I'm not saying that it hasn't. I'm just saying that like I can't necessarily agree with that specific assertion because I personally had a different experience. Has it skyrocketed in the last 25 years? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And they don't even know what antidepressants do, really. They don't even know how they work. So that's fun. And sometimes they make you more suicidal. So that's fun. Oh, teachers are never qualified to diagnose. No, no. There's a whole field for that. Recommend an evaluation, yeah, but diagnose, no. Anyways, you guys, I gotta go. It's 10 after, and I have stuff to do. Mwah. Thank you so much for hanging out, though. This has been so much fun. Getting the right meds is a whole other thing, right? Which, if you have a legit issue, I feel like all these other people who maybe could find another avenue towards their solution are probably muddying the waters, right? Yeah. Yeah, thank you for joining us, and I will see y'all next Wednesday. I'll have something new up for you, and yeah, have a good one, guys. Bye.